I'm here at the Langham Hotel at the Good Front Room to chop it up with my guy, Chef Dom Taylor. Tell me, how do you view the current state of the culinary industry and what changes have you noticed over the years?
I guess for me is we're kind of seeing the grassroots stage of the industry becoming more diverse. And it's still got a long way to go. And it's only when you kind of start to have those conversations, you actually realize how much. So like, for example, me now having this opportunity and having this concept is making people go, wait, why only now?
In your experience, what are some of the most significant challenges chefs of color, like myself and yourself, face, especially at this high-end part of culinary industry?
I would say that I think just like when we were back at school, is because representation wasn't there, is we haven't got anybody in with who are holding the keys, the key holders, in a place of understanding us. So we're misunderstood so much. If we haven't got our brothers and sisters in managerial positions, then no one's giving that person a chance who understands them. And so it continues.
Can you share with me your culinary journey to date?
One, we have to go right back to the very beginning of kind of being the middle child of a five children home to a single parent. My mum was super ambitious, so she worked a lot. And so I think that my first entry into the kitchen was one of resourcefulness. I had to feed myself. Well, you know, I loved food, but I also feed my siblings. I was kind of, even though the middle child, I was the one that was relied on. I was a very serious kid. You know, I was watching Food Network every day from about the age of 10. So by the time I went to chef school, which I went to chef school straight after school, I knew so many techniques like making bechamel, when, you know, kind of the creaming method of making a sponge cake. I knew all of these things already, so it put me leaps and bounds ahead of the other students when I went to chef school. Chef school was the best learning experience of my life. I think my 29th birthday, around that time, I got a job at the Belgrade Hotel working for Mark Hicks. Spent 5 years there, eventually became head chef there under a chef called Sophie Michelle. That gave me the confidence, and I also learned a lot from her about kind of treating ingredients with respect and really honoring their beauty. And I just had this confidence that kind of was like, okay, I'm of this level now. But I said to myself, you've been here for 5 years, do these wings work elsewhere? Are you able to fly elsewhere? You know, and I'm one of those people who are constantly saying to myself, must do better, must do better. I did an executive role for Jam Tree Group. And then I finally said, I'm setting up my own business and I'm doing this Caribbean food thing. It deserves my time and respect. And here I am today.
It's a fantastic journey. You touched on something that for me, it struck a chord, confidence. I find if you're confident, the competence follows you afterward. Can you speak a little bit more about gaining confidence in this industry, especially in what type of cuisine that you do, and how that then pays forward for everything else to roll out?
Yes. I mean, I guess confidence is a funny one because, you know, there's times when I think that I need to be more confident. You know, like for example, when I won the competition, that was a journey of growing in confidence. I arrived and kind of was like screaming internally, I don't belong here, you know. I was looking at the other chefs and I was counting them above me, you know. Absolutely. But I remember clearly that moment when I left Belgrave's Hotel and I took this leap, unsure of where it was going to take me. And it was courage and confidence that allowed me to do that.
Brilliant. So what would you say to the budding chefs coming up, the next generation of chefs who look like you and I, in terms of moving forward with their craft, in terms of moving forward in the industry with their craft, in terms of moving forward in business?
I mean, I would say a couple of things. One, believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. And then also don't be scared to take inspiration from other people who are doing it. Do you know what I mean? Have a look at those people left and right of you and say, what are they doing? And somehow take inspiration from them. And I think that's very much what I did, is that I kind of realized, I kind of saw that some people were also just winging it and making it, and people were paying them.
Don't you find, this is a little confession, right? a lot of time I wing some shit too.
Yeah.
Right. Even at this stage of my career, and I think a lot of people, like I said to you, like you said earlier on, confidence is key. The competence follows after.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this, right? And I don't quite know how it's going to come out, but I'm like, I'm confident in my ability, confident in my skill set, confident in my deliverance, and I'll do it. And I'm like, you know what? You smashed that. It's a blessing to see a chef this caliber, it looks like myself, doing things at places like here at the Langham, under Chef Michel Roux. You know, that is an achievement for the culture, for the community. It tells us that our food sits alongside the Italians, the Japanese, the French. There's no reason why our food shouldn't be in a prestigious venue like this. And this is how it can be done. So Chef Dom, tell me, your residency here at the Langham, Good Front Room, initially it was for how long?
So it's a bit of a long story. Okay. So the show should have aired in February, right, and I should have had a 6 months residency running until October, which is this month. The show was delayed, right, so but my contract was still due to end this month. Right. I've just extended for another 6 months, so I'm here till April.
Another 6 months, people.
So till April 24th.
To April 24th. You guys hear that? Get booking. Inspirations, culinary inspirations.
So, do you know what? So my mom's a big food inspiration to me. You know, my mom's a great cook. But then my nan, my great aunts, they were all kind of like, you know, had a real big impact on me. Cooking at home, weddings and christenings, and you know, I grew up watching Jamie Oliver, for example. He had such an impact on me. Mike Reed, the judge from 5 Star Kitchen, he's been a great inspiration to me and a real role model and mentor, and you know, and a brother, because he understands me from a cultural point of view. And then of course Michel Roux has had an immense impact on me, my career, and my tenure here.
Tell us about a dish that brings back a fond childhood memory for you.
When my mum made Saturday soup, it was like so ceremonious. You know, kind of, because she didn't make it every Saturday, because like I said, my mum works a lot. Right. So when she did, it was just kind of like, you had to start waking people up and say, Mum's got soup on the go.
Tell us where you get your produce from. I know it's all sustainable and locally sourced. Tell us a little bit about the produce that you get here. So like the Scotch bonnets, for instance.
So I get my Scotch bonnets, breadfruit, cassava, my curry powder, ackee, banana blossom from a company called Windrush Bay. They're a local company, a husband and wife, Joanne and Bradley, own it, and it just feels really good to be working with a small black company. So this is my goat.
In the black pan?
So I use goat shoulder, which I graze nice and slow.
Beautiful. The smell is incredible. I see thyme in there.
Thyme's in there. We got Scotch bonnet,
garlic.
Got garlic, spring onion, cinnamon sticks are in there.
Tell me, for the colour, do you use a bit of turmeric?
Turmeric's in there as well.
See that? See when chefs know what type it is?
A few people have said to me, "Oh, chef, you should use the leg because but you just don't get the flavour."
No, the flavour in the shoulder is much more tender.
You ain't got the fat.
It falls off the bone as well.
Important.
It's important. Super important. This is incredible. But we just, you know what we do? We remix a little bit. You know what I mean? We add our little spin on it, add our little flair on it.
Absolutely. It's a must.
It's a must. You've got to put your stamp on it, right?
I think one of the things that we've kind of got to understand is if we guard this cuisine too tightly, then it can't evolve.
You can't share it.
It can't evolve, we can't share it.
You can't share it.
It needs refining.
100%.
It needs refining,
100%.
It needs finessing.
Yes.
We have to,
we got to remix it. That's what I call it. I've got to remix it. So chef, tell me about some of the challenges that you face in your career, and that you face in service as well. How do you stay motivated? How do you stay ahead of the game when things crop up?
I think that's a really good question, because I think what keeps me motivated is the passion. I love this. I love that people are writing these wonderful things about me. I'm loving that people are coming down and are inspired by the food I'm cooking. That wakes me up in the morning. I've been away from the industry in this context for about 7 years. And I think that coming back, I've kind of seen that the industry hasn't changed much. So, you know, head chefs are still working insane in hours to get this job done. And it's kind of like we've seen kind of industries in this country change so much, but chefs seem to be left behind.
Is that the industry itself?
Do you know what? I think the margins are so tight when it comes to food and drink, or food especially. Is and you know, the raising costs of fuel, the raising costs of goods, and so it's just really tight. And I think that historically this is how chefs have worked, and it's really hard to change that mindset.
Do you see yourself having your own bricks and mortar restaurant one day?
Yes, you know what? I'm a very kind of go with the flow, follow the universe type of person. The dream was always to have my own bricks and mortar site. Has that dream evolved? Is the dream 2023? You know, when we, you know, like I've just been saying to you about the cost of electricity and the cost of rents, and you know, so I'm asking myself, here I am in a venue like this, and I'm able to kind of be a little bit more dynamic. And I just don't know. I don't know is the truthful answer.
So chef, tell me about this amazing room that we're standing in here. What is this room?
So this is the ballroom. So we do seating and standing events in here, but it's such a beautiful space. As you can see, the design is amazing. So when this room is dressed, it's really, really, really impressive. So I was part of an event with Chef Michel Roux, and he does a charity event with a charity called Deborah, and he chooses 4 chefs to do each course, and I was chosen to do the first course, and it was an honour, absolute honour. I was cooking beside some really great chefs.
So what did you make? What was it called?
Ackee and saltfish cakes, Scotch bonnet mayonnaise, roasted pineapple chow. It went down a treat.
Of course it would. Those flavours, they complement one another. So
yes, have you tried that dish?
You know I have.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
You know you have the saltfish, the fritter thing that you have here? Blew my mind.
Yes.
Ackee saltfish. This is another way you remix ackee saltfish.
Yes.
I love ackee saltfish.
Yes.
No, ackee not so much.
Yeah.
But when the way you've done it in that croquette it blew my mind.
Thank you,
Absolutely
thank you.
What are some of the most underrated ingredients?
So I think there's quite a few ingredients that I'm using that really, I'm loving the way people are reacting to me using them. So like, for example, dasheen. I've got dasheen on my prawn dish, and I compress it, which is vat packet with lemon juice and olive oil and salt. Dasheen is a root vegetable, really starchy, like a yam. And I've kind of taken this thing that people kind of know and kind of go, oh, I don't really like that. And they're tasting it and kind of going, okay, no, this is interesting all of a sudden. I've elevated it. Forbes actually did an article about dasheen, I think about a year and a half ago. And they were just talking about it was the vegetable that was going to save the Caribbean.
Tell me, if you were a superhero chef, what would your culinary superpower be?
To make all my diners come on time.
If you could cook a meal for any historical figure, at any point in time, wherever, old school, new school, whatever, who would it be and what would the meal be?
It would have to be Maya Angelou. She is so inspiring and empowering, and I'm a wordsmith, and I just feel like she would just like blow my mind. Sat down with a meal with her.
She would,
I would have to cook her curry chicken and green bananas. My absolute favourite meal in the world.
What a combination. So what's on your playlist right now? What's on your Spotify playlist or your whatever playlist you have?
So I created the playlist for the Good Front Room.
Come on now, and that's a dope playlist. Let me tell you something. When I came, I was banging to that playlist, as was everyone else. That's your playlist?
Yes, that's my playlist.
Say less. All right.
So I like a lot of the old greats. I love Marvin Gaye and Aretha Franklin and, you know, Shaka Khan.
Otis Redding. Come on now.
All of those kind of people are on my playlist on loop, you know.
Gotcha.
I also listen to a lot of reggae. I listen to a lot of reggae, old school reggae, Delroy Wilson, and you know, that kind of
yes. If you had one ingredient that you could cook for the rest of your life, just one ingredient, what would it be? I know what mine is.
Yes. Well, it'd have to be one dish.
Okay, what dish would it be? What dish would it be?
So I think if I had one dish that I had to cook for the rest of my life, it'd be rice and peas.
Okay.
I love rice and peas.
I love the smell of rice and peas.
And I think the right quality rice and peas can eat on its own. You don't need no sauce, you don't need no meat.
Tell me, what rice do you use for your rice and peas?
Basmati all the way. Go on.
Come on.
None of that fat rice.
What the fact that swirls in the pot, that absorbs everything.
I'm not in it.
What is that? Thank you for your time.
No, thank
I really
you for
appreciate it.
coming.
I know you're a busy man. You took time out of your day.
It's been a pleasure
to come and allow me in your kitchen. So I appreciate you. And listen, what you're doing is fantastic. I will be back again.
Yes,
to come dine
you must,
the Good Living Room, and I'll bring an entourage of people if I can.
Please do.
All right?
Please do.
Thank you for your time.